Hello, my name is Alana Fitzgerald and I'm with the FLAX language project. So here are the FLAX team based at the University of Waikato in New Zealand. We have Professor Witten, who's the project lead, and he's one of the world's leading data mining specialists. And Dr. Xiaochun Wu, who is the lead programmer and research and development person at Waikato, who I've worked with closely over the years. So if I tell you a little bit more about myself, I have been in the language teaching field, ELT, for the last 20 years, but from 2011 I joined the Open Education movement, and so I've been doing a lot of work with the Open University in the UK, and I'm affiliated with the OER, Open Educational Resources Research Hub at the OU, and these are the different hypotheses that we are currently researching with the FLAX language project. And I've just highlighted a couple here. One is focusing on reflection with language teaching professionals. And so, when I met Maria Jose Marin via the internet, I just dropped her an email and said, hey, look, we've discovered your BLAC corpus, your British Law Report corpus that you've built for your PhD work. And would you be interested in putting it into the FLAX project, because I'm having a hard time finding it online. And I think this is a very key issue with researchers who spend so much time developing these language resources, these corpus-based systems, which take a lot of time and energy, and then they either just disappear off the web or they never made it onto the web. They stay purely within the domain of research. So really at FLAX we're trying to build a system and a practice that enables language teaching professionals, research professionals, to get their corpora up and openly available to be of more benefit to the learning and teaching community. And of course, I've also got hypothesis I there about transition, and we're looking at how this explosion in online learning, this openness movement online, with MOOCs and so on, how a lot of that content, if it is openly licensed, can actually be of benefit to the language learning and teaching community, as well as benefit to the online and open learning informal communities. So the key there is openly licensing content, and I'll just tell you a little bit more about that now. So just very briefly, there's two types of open access out there at the moment, and we make the distinction in the open education world between gratis and libre. And basically with the open access movement and research, it means that you can access the research, you can read it online for free. Great. However, when you are a materials development person, you're a language teacher, you want to develop resources, or you're a corpus builder, you want to take a lot of this openly licensed content and actually remix it and mine it, as we have with the FLAX project. So all of that text analyses that we do on top of the resource, this is where we need the resource to be licensed openly, usually with Creative Commons licenses, and this is what we call Open Libre. Okay, so this is the really key point with openly licensed resources. There's a lot of free stuff out there, but free doesn't mean open. We're really aiming for open, and because the BLAC is a good example of a corpus that's derived from openly licensed, open access, Libre content, this is showing us the way forward with how we can build corpora or any type of language learning resources, but the key point there is Open Libre. Okay. So if I just take you back to the FLAX homepage, if you want to know more about how to build your own collections in FLAX, we have this book of FLAX which takes you through the steps. There's also training videos. I'll just go down to the law collections that we've been building with our colleagues at the University of Murcia, and I'll show you some other resources as well. So for example, here's a networked course from Harvard University on copyright law, and so what we've done essentially is we've taken all of the course readings, all of the course lectures, and we've just put those into FLAX to mine and provide linguistic support for those online learners. Now remember, those online learners are not registered language learners. They just happen to be interested in learning copyright law and whatever the subject may be. However, because a lot of these openly available courses now are in English or other lingua francas, Spanish, Arabic, French, it means that, those people that are, coming online to learn about these subject areas who don't have that lingua franca are actually going to be denied access. So there's a lot of work going on with MOOCs and online learning to do with translation, which is great. And but just in addition to that, we think that corpus-based approaches can add an extra level of mining that content and providing language support in the language of that course. So when you are trying to communicate with your peers from around the world in English or in French or in Spanish or whatever the case may be, it means that you can, pick out those keywords, those key phrases, those key concepts, and be able to participate in the forums or to have a chance at writing the exam, because we're going to pull out some of the useful language items for you. So this is our vision at FLAX. We want to put the control back where it belongs, in the hands of teachers and learners. So you decide what content goes into the collections, and that can be culturally specific, domain specific, whatever you want. And what I'm trying to show you by building collections directly on our website is that there is a lot of openly available content now that can be used as well. And that's a big part of what I'm trying to push with this project. With the open education movement, is that with the rise in online learning and with the rise in Creative Commons licensed material, we're just blowing the whole scene open for language teaching to go in a much more authentic and ground up and hands-on approach, which is directed by the teachers, by the learners, by the researchers, and not directed by the textbook industry, which is only going to give us very generic type resources, because that's all they can ever fit into their print-based materials. And we're also going to push beyond what the dictionaries for learners can do, because we're going to give you a lot more authentic examples from the texts that are of interest and from the multimedia that are of interest to your particular subject group, whether they be studying legal English or business English or, please, if there's anybody out there who wants to build collections in another language, whether that be Spanish or whatever the case may be, FLAX is multilingual. We just need experts from the linguistics community to get involved so we can crowdsource a greater vision for language learning and teaching, whatever the language may be. Thank you very much for your attention, and all the very best. Goodbye.